T.C. Two guys who ask, wonder what they're doing in T-Town right now. Not this. It's South Alabama's #1 podcast, Drive Time with DJ and KJ.
Good morning, Wednesday, Hump Day, the best day of your life. Good morning, Hot Rod, Sherry Weaver, good morning to you. Tracy Miller, Raj is in, good morning, Raj. Serena Terry, Kevin Ard, Mary Jo, good morning, Mary Jo. Neil Jackson's in, Rhett Joyner, good morning, Rhett. Megan Ferreira, good morning to you. Sister's in, good morning, Whitney Boyd. Reed Joyner's in, Emerald Coast All Purpose. You're going to contact him probably today if you have property down on the coast. Reed, you're going to be a busy man. Stay safe. Elizabeth Godwin Bush, good morning to you. Sarge, good morning. Andrea Bailey, good morning. Daniel Smith, good morning. Brandy and Brian Thorman, good morning. Christy Monique, Monica Williams Graydon, one of the girls of 87. Good morning to you. Jerry Wilson, Marshall Bracken, Coach Tiepo, Brandy Jackson, good morning, Brandy. Mitch Redash is in, good morning. Jesse James, good morning. Miss Carol's in, good morning. And good morning, Kenwood.
Good morning, DJ. Happy Hurricane Hump Day. That's a
mouthful.
Yeah. Say that 3 or 4 times.
Mary Jo was inquiring about the Dirty 30 t-shirts yesterday. Those can still be ordered on, where can someone go to order those?
They can order them on bossprollc.com, or they can contact me or you, either one. And
we have those in stock. Like they could be delivered today locally, correct?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Is yours, is that me or you?
I think it's you.
Is it me?
It could be me, but I think it's you.
Let me see if it's me. Yeah, maybe me. Okay, there we go. Yeah, but they online. But I'll tell you this, I ran out of some certain sizes, so
medium.
Yeah. So I got to get with my contributor. Well, let's see. How do you designer? Is that what you would say? I got to get with her and get all that worked out. So, and we will. Anyway, everybody prepared and got the hatches battened down. And do we have any forecasts on if there's any milk left at Piggly Wiggly or at Walmart or Pick and Save? I don't know. I'm good. Bread and milk.
I filled the bathtub up with water and I'm ready.
Hey, how many milk jugs did you fill up full of water last night? I mean, I know you like a milk jug and some water, so yeah. I'm sure you probably, filled up a few. First, we do want to say this to everybody out there: stay safe. If you don't have to be on the road, certainly we understand you don't you don't need to be on the road, but for those of y'all that are, you ain't gonna believe this. The next 5 of you that walk in the Ford store, the Chevrolet store, you get a free oil change for free. Just tell them you heard it on the drive time. You want a drive time free oil change
and a hamburger. We're gonna keep you for a while.
Listen, we are not advocating for you to get out on the road. We're
just like to have some company.
Yeah, we just we wanted some people to hang out with, and y'all come on down, and while you're at it, we'll freshen up your oil, and while you're at that, we'll give you a detail. All we're going to do is set the car outside and let it rain on it for about 45 minutes.
I saw where Serena Terry is watching this morning from San Antonio, so she took the evacuation very serious.
Well, they told Serena to get out. She said, look here, I remember Ivan. How many of us was told that we needed to leave during Ivan and we didn't? I can tell you one.
I stayed because I had to.
And I'll tell you something else. I don't know where this is driving me nuts. I'll tell you another thing. Another person I clowned pretty good during that time was Jesse James, when I told her that she was crazy for going and buying up all that food and all that stuff. And, I thought she was nuts. And the next morning after Ivan, when all that destruction was everywhere, I looked at her and I said, well, I won't ever say anything to you about getting prepared for a hurricane, or for that matter, any disaster ever again. Ever. I mean, so, I'm like you. I'll tell you what, when Dennis came through not long after that,
right.
Yeah, we left. We went to Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Raj has gas. There was a comment made earlier that some places were running out.
Country Express,
both locations, and get you a box of crispy, crunchy chicken.
Which is delicious, by the way. Country Express has gas. Raj, Palmer, in the house, they have gas. If you need it, go down and check them out. And no, they didn't blow the gas price up like everybody. Let me tell you something. You know what gas was yesterday in Florida? In the
There's
panhandle.
no telling.
Some spots they showed it was $2.95, $3. You believe that?
Jumped up there pretty quick, didn't it?
I thought they had laws against that kind of thing. Do they not?
I thought there was, yeah.
I always thought there was. So,
Congratulations to Sam graduating. I saw Serena's in San Antonio. He's been out at training, and he's in the Air Force. Maybe the Navy. I can't remember. The Air Force in San Antonio?
I think Air Force, yes.
Navy, that'd be a tough place to have a Navy post, would it not?
I think is that what is that? Is that Lackland Air Force Base, maybe? Let's see here.
Thank you for that, Brandy and Brian.
Yeah. They went to LaGrange. Plenty of room, milk, bread, and TP. I'm going to tell you something. She's got all the necessities.
You're ready.
Ain't but one thing missing from that right there, Brandy, and that'd be a box or two of Little Debbie snack cakes. I mean, outside of that, you'd be ready to go. So, yeah, Air Force.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Congratulations to Sam.
Reed, all right, we got on-the-spot reporter down in amongst all of the bad weather, and Reed is going to keep us informed as to what is going on down that way. So, Reed said it's starting to get crazy down that way. Yeah. So Raj said, you see what he says? Raj said, just stay calm, don't panic. They'll continue getting flow of fuel as long as the terminals permit it. I guess that means as long as you act right, they'll make everything happen and do what needs to keep gas coming. Oh my goodness. Miss Carol just made a pound cake.
Oh, she's ready. Or are we ready?
You're trying to come up with a reason to go out there now, aren't you?
Yep.
Let's see. Where'd you leave off a while ago? A bunch of people jumped in since then. There's Brandy Jackson. Brandy don't get to watch us much in the morning anymore. She's back in school. Good morning, Brandy Jackson. Mitch Red Ash, Coach Teppo, Marshall Bracken, Jerry Wilson, Monica Graydon.
She's in there, Girls of 87.
Yeah. Donald Thompson, Gina Hooks, Terry Beasley, Denise Finley, Matt Knoll. Good morning, Red. Mary Blair, Lisa Tyndall, Lisa McGraw, Hal Whitman, Molly Rachel. Good morning, Molly. Crystal Clements, Austin Rogers. Good morning, Austin. Carmen Rose, Kim Nance, Heather Cook, Kristen Kennedy, Val Carnley, Brooks Hart, Dana Carver, Connie B. Good morning, Connie. So, we kind of waited a little later this morning because we wanted to make sure that everything was sound over here and, that we weren't going to get wet and all that kind of stuff. And so here we are. We made it. I put out your top 5 yesterday.
It killed me to put Notre Dame in it. They've done enough to earn it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be fair if I'm nothing else.
I put it out, and I'm going to tell you, there was some people that I don't think disagreed with it at all. Now, you weren't here to be able to participate in the, in your top 5. So since you're sitting here now, I say let's hit that top 5 again and round out the top 10.
Well, one is what it's been now for almost 2 years. UCF,
holding tight.
The University of Central Florida,
holding tight.
I think 20 years from now, we're going to look back at this 2-year run they've had and put it up there as probably the greatest dynasty college football's ever known.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
It was easy to attach it to Coach Scott Frost. He leaves, new coach comes in, hadn't missed a beat. They're unbelievable, just dominant. Probably the best quarterback in the country, a very physical defense. They're fun to watch.
Let me ask you a question real quick. since we're talking about picks, what's with the Auburn hat and the Auburn wear this morning? I'm kind of confused. I mean,
it's exciting times on the Plains. Had the big win over Georgia last weekend. Got Missouri coming in this weekend. Things are good.
Big win over Georgia.
Yeah.
You mean last year over Georgia?
No, last weekend.
Last weekend? We hadn't played Georgia yet.
Yeah, we played Georgia last weekend, played Missouri this weekend.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about football. What I mean, Georgia football.
No, not about women's soccer. That's what I follow.
And
well,
that makes a difference. Yeah.
Football's on the way out, man. Hit too many head injuries.
Okay. So you're telling me that you got the Auburn wear on supporting the volleyball team.
Soccer.
I'm sorry, soccer team.
Yeah. Been a fan since 91.
Okay. Well, let's get back to the top 10 then, because I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't realize that you followed.
Oh yeah.
Are you a lacrosse fan as well?
Yeah, actually I am. We an equestrian from time to time, swimming and diving.
They've done pretty good in those areas over the years, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We pounded Georgia last weekend. I can't wait to get Missouri this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. So let's get back to the thing. I wasn't prepared for that one. Let's get back to the top five.
The UCF 1, 2. Once again, I've been consistent here. The best team in the best conference, Georgia Bulldogs, deserving of number 2 spot. They stay there until proven otherwise. Clemson with their outstanding freshman quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, number 3. Number 4 would be Ohio State. I don't think much of Urban Meyer, but his team has certainly performed on the field, and I think deserve to be in the top 5 and being in that 4 spot with this mythical championship playoff format they have set up. If the season ended today, they would be in that. And then number 5, and it pained me, Notre Dame. And I despise Notre Dame, never liked them. I've probably been, if there's one team I've been unfair with in terms of consideration, it has been them. But when you look at their body of work, and especially the most recent victory over Stanford, I mean, you got to put them there.
So that's your top 5.
Yeah.
There it is. All right, so let's finish it out. 6 through 10.
6 is a little bit of a wild card here, and I was on this team preseason, and this is more kind of me banging my chest saying I told y'all they were going to have a good year. Is I'm putting the Florida Gators there. I like what Dan Mullen's doing. I wanted him at Auburn back when they hired Gus Malzahn, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was. But I got the Florida Gators at 6. I've got Wisconsin at 7. Number 8, I've got Michigan at number 8. Penn State has worked back up to 9. The 1 point loss to Ohio State. I probably have them a little lower than they need to be, but I've always been a little skeptical of the Big Ten anyway. So I'm going to put Penn State at 9, and then at 10 I'm going to have LSU.
Wow,
2-loss LSU team.
Wow. I'm going to tell you something.
1-loss LSU team.
That is that's a strong top 10. Strong top 10.
I think I got it right.
Yeah, I mean, there you have it. DJ's Top 10. Brought to you every Tuesday morning, and it's Wednesday morning because he wasn't here yesterday. So brought to you every Tuesday morning by your friends at the Charms Blow Pop Factory, where they can build you a small, medium, or large blow pop of your choice. Just tell them DJ sent you.
Hashtag.
They'll know who he is. Trust me. So I do want to say this. I want to send out our congratulations to Megan and Shannon Brantley on the birth of Emmy Lou. And I know they're excited. And of course,
that's their second
daughter.
Child.
That's
yeah.
right.
Good. That's great.
Baby June, the first one. And of course, they, tell you what, I always like to see people who having children, and I wish them well and stuff, but I'm going to tell you one has been enough for me. And I love the one I got. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, Melanie messed that up yesterday, by the way. Melanie McGugan. So,
I'm shocked.
like, she has Just Do all decorated up, but she refused to help us decorate Studio C here. She didn't want to, I guess, do anything.
Too many crumbs.
I guess. I don't know. Good morning, Chevy Ann, Jefferson Martin, Dwayne King, James Johnson, Logan Williamson, Allison Ward, Amanda Gwynn, Chef Adam. Good morning, Chef Adam. Nicole Smith Montgomery. Good morning to you. Donna Weaver, Leslie Franklin. There she is. Lori Duke Woodard. Good morning, Lori. Megan Brantley. Good morning to you. That's Carol Glidden. Good morning, Carol. Carol, I said earlier, but she said she had made a pound cake, DJ. Oof. Lee Knowles. Good morning. Jason Bondurant, Laura Ross, Stephanie Floyd, Jim Baggett.
Jimbo.
Yeah. So anyway, our thoughts and prayers with everyone over around the, I guess it would be the Destin, 30A, Panama City, Apalachicola area. Certainly looks like they're going to probably take the worst part of it. So stay safe over that way. And, it's certainly just one of those things that we're, I don't wish bad on anybody. I'm just glad it didn't come towards us.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. You're thankful it's not in your backyard, but you certainly, your heart goes out to those that are going to have to deal with it. This looks like a monster that's absolutely bearing down on them. And, we got a taste of it with Ivan back in 2004. And you just pray for everybody's personal safety and understand there's going to be a lot of devastation to come. And hopefully that they will get back on their feet and get back to some sense of normalcy sooner rather than later.
Speaking of that, do you have, by chance, any update on the leaderboard?
Everything has been graded. Everything's in. I don't have a total tally for each individual person yet. Since we're going to be off today and tomorrow in terms of things we have to do with BMP or whatnot, I will have that up by Thursday.
Okay.
But I can tell you this, the number of correct answers the last 2 weeks looks a lot different than the first 2 weeks. I've run out of red pen, Randy.
Well,
if you got 5 or 6 right each of the last 2 weeks, you did real good. This past week, I think there was only 3 that got 8. We almost had our first offer.
Really?
Almost. I'm not going to call the person's name. Got 1.
And they got 1. Wow.
And it was the last one.
Last week was tough.
Yeah, last week was tough. I mean, 2 weeks ago was tough. This most recent week was the toughest. Yeah, in terms of rights and wrongs.
The week before last was tough. Last week was really tough. Yeah. And let's be honest, this week's games, I put
you can flip a coin.
We put them out yesterday.
Yeah. You can flip a coin.
Several people commented that they were rough. Tough. Tough games.
You can flip a coin.
So it's one of those things. Good morning, Renee Phillips. It's one of those things that hey, it is what it is. So being that you were with the emergency management for as long as you were, we have a source here that you just, money can't buy, right? I mean, wisdom and experience and all that kind of stuff. What would you say is the number one thing that you need to do in a situation when they tell you that you got a hurricane of that magnitude bearing down on you? Get out.
You need to get out. But if you choose to stay in the impact area, and of course the impact area is going to be very widespread, whether it's loss of property or not, you can expect power to go out. When we had Ivan, our population is 38,000 people in Escambia County, and everybody lost power initially. Obviously, there's some facilities and houses that had the built-in generators that had power back up, but if you were dependent on the landlines, you were out. So you need to be prepared for 72 hours minimum to be self-contained. Don't expect a resource to hit you for 72 hours. And if you don't do that, then you're just being foolish.
So I was having a conversation this morning about mandatory evacuations. And my question was, if they say it's a mandatory evacuation, well, you don't really hear that a lot. And what I was told is the reason you don't hear that is if they make it a mandatory evacuation, then they have to start arresting people that don't evacuate.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but if you see a Category 4 hurricane bearing down on you, I mean, is it not responsible to go to the microphone as a governor or whoever and say, get out? It's mandatory. And no, we're not going to send the cops to arrest you if you don't come out because it's too dangerous to come out there. I mean, that happened in Ivan, did it not? Those guys riding it out on Pensacola Beach and all this stuff?
It did. And, you know, to put it in
Good morning, Jennifer Q.
You might can even have more appreciation for this storm. When Hurricane Ivan got to Escambia County, Alabama, it was a Category 2.
Mm-hmm.
So the impact area with this storm, the initial impact area, they're saying 4, possibly 5. That's going to be twice the force that Escambia County, Alabama met with Hurricane Ivan, and it's hard to fathom that.
Oh, it is.
Mean, you know, because I mean, it's hard to comprehend and get your arms wrapped around.
And I think what made Ivan even worse was it was at night.
Well, it made it worse, but it probably kept people out wanting to sightsee. One of the things that I saw the next day is that when daylight came and we were doing some of our initial assessments, the storm wasn't over. And there was people out wanting to see everything that had happened, and there were still trees going down. I remember being on 31 there in front of the elementary school, and of course I was a little further back from it, me and some of the guys from FEMA, but we saw the tree about there where the O'Reilly's is now, maybe just this side of O'Reilly's, the school side of O'Reilly's. We saw the tree coming down, and I'm not going to name the citizen's name, but I saw their car going, and it was one of those faces of horror. I said, my God, they're fixing to get killed right now. And, you know, when you're 200 feet back, it looks like it's going to be just perfect. The tree came down well in front of the vehicle, but
they were able to stop.
Yeah, they had plenty of time to stop. But it just goes, I mean, that was going on everywhere. So people wanted to get out and see this and see that. You know, was it curiosity killed the cat? But you better hunker down and let this thing do what it's going to do. You're not going to stop it. I mean, you can't do anything with it. But it certainly makes for some dangerous times.
Let me ask you this question. Do you like MREs?
I haven't had one since 2004. But
I didn't have one then.
My goodness.
Let me tell you something. If you've ever been in the military at Hot Rod, he can attest to this. These MREs they have today are the new style MREs. Yeah. Okay. And even back during Ivan, they were the new style. We didn't have the luxury of having those particular MREs in, the Army.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I told Jessica, I said, look here, you can go down there and you can get in line to get you a case of them things all you want. But if you open one of them around me and I smell it, I'm going to take that case and I'm going to go to that fireplace and I'm going to put it in it and I'm going to burn it. Because when you've ate as many of them nasty things as what we had to eat in the military, you never want to see them again. And I saw people rush into those things like they were gold bricks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and don't get me wrong. In a situation where you don't have anything to eat, you'll eat it. I get it. Okay, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying I had a deep freezer that had plenty of meat in it that was not working that I had to cook and eat.
Yeah.
And I would have cooked everything and started shooting squirrels or whatever in my backyard before I started eating on the MRE. I mean, they are just that bad. I mean, that's my personal opinion, but I can tell you, I have never had, since I was 17 years old, I got in the military, I've never had one urge hit me that said, you know what, I want an MRE today.
I tell you,
never.
You know, going back, you know, what they're fixing to be dealing with, what they are dealing with down there. When Hurricane Ivan was coming in and we were having our county-wide, safety preparedness meetings, you know, we would get together the week leading up to the storm as it got in the Gulf and we became on the projected path of Ivan. We would meet, you know, in Flomaton or Atmore here in Bruton, and we would all get together like, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to respond. You know, number one, it's going to be about saving life, and then it's going to be, you know, property, and then it's going to be recovery, and that's how it's going to go.
I was told that y'all was down there living in the lap of luxury, like ribeyes, and all this kind of stuff.
I'm
did I get some bad information or
you got incomplete information?
Okay.
But
I'm not dogging off on nobody for living large. That ain't what I'm saying.
No, I'm fixing to. You got incomplete information. What this is going to turn into, and this is the part that I just never completely got over this. This turns into a cash cow. This storm. All right, the storm is going to present its share of problems, its share of hardship. When FEMA rolls in, that's when it starts. When you just see, I'll use our county back during Hurricane Ivan. The first thing we did was we couldn't receive outside resources because nobody could get in. All our roadways were cut down with trees or blocked off with trees, so we had to move debris. So then. And they meet with all the mayors and the county commission, and they say, "Okay, here's the deal. By law, you bid this out when it's declared a state of when the governor declares it a state of emergency. Then the state and the federal checkbooks are open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so at that point, bid laws come into place, and they say, all right, to get this debris up, you can bid it out, and you as an entity are going to be responsible for 10% of that bill." Or you can task out the Corps of Engineers and you will owe nothing. So everybody looks at everybody like, is this a trick question?
Everybody knew what that was.
We want the nothing.
Right.
So right there, you sign a piece of paper and the Corps of Engineers are going to handle the debris mission. Well, sitting just to the right of the Corps of Engineers representatives are the people from Phillips and Jordan, a national contractor that works natural disasters. And the Corps of Engineers, they had this method, they had this calculation, and they came up and they said, okay, we'll do it for $35 a cubic yard. That's what they will handle the debris for. Phillips and Jordan says, I'll tell you what, we'll do it for $27 a cubic yard. So the Corps just subbed out Phillips and Jordan, and they put $8 a cubic yard in their pocket, and they left. They never picked up a stick, never raked up a leaf. They're gone. They get their $8 a yard, and they're out. Well, Phillips and Jordan, before they leave the room, they've identified people in the area, one in the west end of the county, one in the central, one in the east, and they subbed their work out for $21 a cubic yard. So Phillips Jordan's now put their $6 a yard in, and they've left. They've gone back to Louisville, Kentucky. By the time it got subbed out all the way down, the people who were actually picking up the debris were getting paid $6 and $7 a yard.
Wow.
So the taxpayers had $30 a yard in administrative fees that went up a bull's butt. And that happens in every facet, whether it's ice, whether it's kites, whether it's, whatever the resource is that comes in, that's how much money gets wasted. And it was just troublesome to see it. This is a true story. The EMA director in Baldwin County saw an opportunity to save some money. She led her county commission into bidding out the process. Actually got her debris picked up for cheaper than we did up here, but she lost her job because the Baldwin County was stuck with 10% of the total bill.
Are you kidding?
She lost her job. Trying to do the right thing, she lost her job.
She lost her job because of trying to save them money?
Uh-huh.
And I mean, who would put her out for that?
But I'm gonna go back to the steak story you're talking about. During these storms.
Yeah, I heard that.
Here's what happens. Everybody, when it comes budget time in Washington, D.C., you have to go in and you have to make your case for why they should give you more money to provide the service that you provide. And I'm not knocking any of these entities. I'm just telling you how it worked in this instance with this storm. The Forestry Commission sent down a unit to assist. And what their primary mission was going to be was to provide for those first responders that were in clearing roads, moving debris, cleaning up, whatever. So they come in and they spend about a week. They get here one day after the storm. They spend about a week in a helicopter flying over the county, identifying a place where they can build a tent city. It has like a washateria in it, certainly a chow hall, housing quarters, the whole 9 yards. Well, after 3 days of assessing, they decide to put the tent city on the campus at Southern Normal. And it takes them about a day, day and a half, maybe 2 days to get to get all the tents up and operational. Well, since they're used to working with firefighters and fire departments on those wildfires out west, their diet is strongly laid out in carbohydrates. It's steaks, it's mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, whatever the case may be.
Sure.
And it's 3 times a day. So for breakfast, they were serving steak. For lunch, it was actually when you left in the morning, you got a steak and potatoes in the morning. When you left, they had packed you a lunch. It was like a brown bag lunch. Then when you came back in the evening, it was steak and potatoes. So they get set up after about 8 days. They're operational. They did that for about 4 days. And then, of course, the crisis part of the storm had come and gone. The power companies and all those from out of town had done a phenomenal job, getting the power back up, and roads were cleared, and the volunteer fire departments and the paid fire departments were amazing in that capacity, by the way. They were the real heroes in Aubrey County with the people out clearing the roads. But they will be able to, by doing that, they will be able to go to Washington and say, okay, we had so many deployments in a year. One of them was in Brewton, Alabama, Escambia County, Alabama. We deployed there. We did this. We did that. And they did. I can just tell you the purpose they served in that instance was not necessary.
Yeah.
They came in like the impact had already been felt, had already been dealt with. They did not really serve a purpose, but they did deploy. They did put up X number of tents. They did serve a wide number of stakes. And there were some first responders that stayed out there, that did have their clothes washed or had a place to sleep or whatnot. But that was just another instance that happened. I remember getting into a brawl with some of the relief workers there in the parking lot of the courthouse that were feeding the hot plates responders that ran. And there was a real need for that initially. There really was. And they came in and did a great job, having a camp stew, rice, a loaf of bread, or a slice of bread, and a vegetable and sweet tea or whatnot. And they were still doing it, 2 weeks after the storm. And I went to them and said, look, McDonald's is open. Okay. Dairy Queen, Burger King, they're open. I said, at some point in time, the local economy has got to be kicked back in. I said, somehow, some way, all these people ate prior to this storm. And they said, well, Mr. Jennings, we're still serving 100 plates a day. And I said, well, you can be here 6 months from now, and if you're giving it away free,
they're gonna come.
You're going to be serving 100 plates a day. But what it turns out to is each plate they serve, they get reimbursed by the federal government up to $100 for Camp Stew. So it almost turns into a fundraiser. And I get it. I mean, they really do serve a purpose initially.
Sure.
But while the federal checkbook is open, they go ahead and
take it.
They got a chance to make some money to set them up for the next disaster. So my gripe with them was less than it was with some of the other ones. But they were going to stay as long as they could to get as big a check as they could. And the biggest one that blew my mind was the ice. The ice blew my mind. I had no idea there was a difference between state ice and federal ice.
What? No.
All these reefer trucks come in with ice. And I'm telling you, we had some state ice come in. State ice. We're sitting here. Our need had been met. It was staged down in Atmore there at the industrial park. And there was a community, I cannot remember the county in Mississippi. It was one of the rural counties there that was still not online in terms of everybody having power, and they requested ice. So I went through the proper channels, made the phone calls, and say, okay, we're good, we're done. They need this ice over in so-and-so. Is it cool to send it over there? Well, Mr. Jennings, that's state of Alabama ice, and it's not authorized to go across the state lines into Mississippi, so no, you can't send it. Okay, well, we don't need it. What do you suggest I do with it? We had to unload. This is a true story. Had to unload the ice and watch it melt on the concrete pad.
Are you
watch it melt?
Didn't want it?
Couldn't take it back.
Nothing you could do.
Nothing you could do. You'd have been arrested. If you'd have sent it across state lines, you could have been arrested and charged with it.
I mean, arrested for what?
I guess bootlegging. I don't know. But it was
it's
crazy, man. I'll tell you, when it gets in, and there's some good that comes out of it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just so chaotic and so asinine. The things that happen, it becomes almost as stressful as the storm itself.
Well, I was going to say, how many days did it take you to recuperate after going that hard for that long?
It was tough. I tell you this. I remember.
Was that one of the? And I don't mean to interrupt, but was that one of the reasons you decided to kind of get out of that?
Well, the main reason was just I couldn't handle. I was overwhelmed by the waste, and I was overwhelmed by just how the system worked. I mean, I just soured on it. I just completely soured, and I'm not trying to sound like an anarchist. I'm not. I'm a team player. I believe in law and order and things like that. But it was just so much. It was just overwhelming for me. And I remember the first good day I had. Jimbo Hart here in town, his law office. The power company. There's a rhyme. There's a method to the madness of how power comes up. The first thing they're going to do is take care of critical facilities like your hospitals, your nursing homes.
As they should.
Yeah, they're going to get those up quick. Those are going to be the first ones to come online. The next ones that come up is where they can get the most bang for their buck. If they can get this grid up and it powers 10,000 people, they're going to do that as opposed to a grid that may get 1,000 people up. So they're going to try to get the masses up quick, and then the isolated areas and the smaller pockets, unfortunately, going to come on last. Well, Jimbo Hart's law office being there at the courthouse, and that was our operations command center, by the way, that was one of the first things they wanted to get up. And after about 3 days, he and his wife, Carolyn, offered me, they had a shower and a bathroom there. They offered me the opportunity to go down and take a hot shower. And I've never been more happy to take a hot shower in all my life. It had been about 3 or 4 days, and it felt great. So I kind of got a second win there. And then it was probably another week or so before things got somewhat what I would call normal. But the power companies, they didn't play, man. I mean, when they came in and they did what they did, I was actually shocked how quickly our county got back online.
Yeah, we were, I think we were without power for like 9 days, maybe 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Which in the grand scheme of things was not a long time compared to a lot of people. I know this. I know Generac sales went up a whole bunch after Ivan around here. And people that had gas hot water heaters were friends to a lot of people during that time.
I'll tell you what else was pretty cool to see, and I saw Alabama Power more than I did Southern Pine, but the efforts were very similar. Of course, everybody remembers all the power trucks from out of town as they came in our community, and we were certainly glad to see them come in and assist. But Alabama Power staged up on the campus of Terra Miller High School. And they're in the old lunchroom. This is before the new school was built, obviously. They were in the old lunchroom, was kind of where their housing was. Well, they had Milo's. Alabama Power, they had Milo's come in as their caterer, and they provided all the meals. And across that back wall, and of course, this is what I paid most attention to, they would invite us to come up there and eat or whatnot. And, across that back wall, they had bins set up, and there were snacks. And it was every snack you could have imagined. If you wanted Skittles, if you wanted powdered donuts, if you wanted Snicker bars, if you wanted Sunburst, it was everything that's ever been made. And the power company workers, each morning they had cots, of course, set up there for them to sleep or whatnot. When they woke up in the morning and after they ate their Milo's breakfast, they could go through the snack bin and get whatever they wanted. Gatorades, Powerades, water, snacks, chips, whatever. They had everything. I was shocked how quickly Alabama Power got mobilized and how they provided for the contractors that were in town to get power back to the people.
So they got in there and did what they were supposed to do.
Oh, yeah. It was impressive. Like when you talk about logistics and you talk about a lot of moving pieces, and of course, they're obviously a multi-billion-dollar company. I mean, they don't play around.
I tell you, I would say we've always been lucky to have great local, power infrastructure. The company, Alabama Power and Southern Pine, I mean, after that disaster, think about it. I mean, I remember Bonita Avenue up through there looked like somebody just went through there with a tree cutter just to cut trees down, everything they could cut trees down on top of.
I didn't go everywhere. I went a lot of places. Went by vehicle when you could, went by air initially, in a helicopter. There was not a 2-block area in this county that didn't have impact. Not a 2-block area. Everywhere you went, you say, this is the worst I've seen. I can tell you where the worst I saw was, in my opinion. Kego.
Really? Yeah.
Kego was a tangle, man. Yeah, I mean, it was just a tangle. And of course, if you go back and you look at the charts and look at the readings that came out after the fact, and everybody, kind of has their version of it. I'm telling you what was released by the feds. The eye wall went straight through Flomaton. So that put Kego right there in that immediate uppercut area. and it showed, man. I mean, Kigo got hit square in the mouth.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember that driving through there. And but like I said, everywhere was bad.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I can tell you this, and we can all say this. If there's a tree down on your house, in your mind, guess who got it worse? You did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you'll never convince anybody otherwise, and I get it. I had 2 down on mine.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to tell you, I had trees down everywhere but on top of my house.
Well.
But I can tell you what happened. I made haste in getting rid of every tree in my yard after that.
I remember, and you mentioned the storm coming in during the nighttime hours for the most part. And I remember waking up the next morning. I remember being at the courthouse. And I remember seeing the flagpole out front. And I remember it was bending like it was rubber. And that's a steel pole, probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 inches in diameter, I would assume, maybe even more. But I remember thinking, that's a flagpole, and it looks like it's a rubber band. So I knew things were serious. But when I got out and started moving around the next day, it looked like a bomb had gone off.
Oh, yeah.
And I was sitting there thinking, is it like this all over this county? And quickly found out that, yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. And not only that, but it was, the one thing, true enough, after that again, we talk about this a lot, was the fact that everybody was helping everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to, well, I mean, I broke 2 winch cables pulling trees and stuff out of people's yards and trees out of the road and, that kind of thing. And, so, I mean, and I don't just mean me. I mean, I saw a lot of people doing that kind of thing.
Let me tell you this.
Good morning, action.
This was somewhat humorous. Maybe it was 7 or 8 days after the storm. And of course, we were leaning heavily on the volunteer fire departments in terms of distributing resources. We knew they knew the communities. We knew they knew the people who were most vulnerable in their communities. So we would get resources to them, and they would distribute as best they could, whether it was cots, MREs, tarps, ice, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. Well, about 7 or 8 days after the fact, and I'll never forget this, and I'm not going to name the community. I'm certainly not name the person, but there was a community who had not received ice, at any point in time. And it was one of those deals, once again, you're trying to serve the masses, and this particular area, not that you didn't care about them, but kind of if you use the template the power company used, they were last on the list to get some.
Right.
Well, it wasn't going to be okay until they got ice. Even after the initial crisis had passed, power's back up. And at this point, power's up everywhere. So you can go freeze water at this point if you wanted to. They still wanted their ice because everybody else had gotten it. Well, I'd had a belly full of it. Of course, I hadn't slept in a week. So I said, I'll tell you what, so-and-so, I'm bringing the ice. So I loaded up my county Jeep, and I can tell you how many bags of ice were in it. It was 96 bags. And that was one sitting in my lap. That Jeep held 96 bags of ice.
Wow.
And I take off, and the whole way out there, I'm getting worked up. And I said, when I get there, I'm going to say this. I'm not in my right mind. I hadn't slept in a week. And I get out there, and I saw this particular person in the road waiting on me. I was going to meet him at a church, in a church parking lot. I saw this particular person in the road. They were waiting on me. I mean, laying in wait. And when I got up there, she waved me over. And I said, my God, she's fixing to kill me. So when I got up, my tone and tune had changed substantially from when I left the Escambia County Courthouse. And I not only delivered the ice, I stacked it and restacked it exactly where she wanted it.
You done backed up a little bit.
I got out of there with my life and was proud to do so.
Well, hey, listen, at least you got out,
man. Jeez.
I mean, I heard there were people all kind of bit up out of shape about ice and MREs. What about when they gave out the cards down there in front of the church?
Now, we weren't involved with that. That was I think a DHR mission.
What, they had like $600 or something?
It was something, yeah. So we were not directly involved with that.
I was amazed at the line that was down there in front of the church. I mean, there was a lot of people. I'm going to tell you this story just because she's no longer with us, and I don't think that he would mind. But Alan Gord Howard.
Yeah.
So he's up the road from me, lives up the road from me there. And we decided about 3 days into it, we heard that the Walmart in Greenville had a generator running. They were open. They were selling. So we decided we were going to load up and go to Walmart up there. And I said, well, let's check on flow and make sure flow is, okay. So we call up there and, Flo, you need anything for Walmart? She said, I sure do. I'm thinking she'll need necessity type things, right? She said she needs a carton of Virginia Slims and
smoke them if you got them,
and a pack of Little Debbie's. Matter of fact, make that 2 packs
of what? Virginia Slims
of Little Debbie's. and she said, and I said, well, Alan said, well, Floribel, you don't need anything else? Don't need anything else. And I said, so as we backing out of the driveway, Gord looks at me, he said, let me tell you something. He said, you notice one thing? I said, what's that? He said, that makeup was on. That hair was done. Yeah. He said, now that underwear might have been on backwards. Well, he said that now. I mean, that's a fact.
I want to share this also, just before we transition out of it. And everybody can have their own opinion of what's needed, what's not needed. My personal opinion is a little on the overkill side. Let me tell you something. If 150 mile per hour winds hit your community, do you know what you can do about that?
What?
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. That's
nothing.
right.
And, they have all these standard operating procedures you're supposed to follow when this happens and that happens. Well, the variables that can happen are endless. The only way you're going to get through a tough time, whether it's weather related or whatever, I mean, we saw it, God forbid, on 9/11, back in 2001. It's your community. If you live in a community of people and have caring hearts, then your hardship is going to be lesser than those communities that don't have that.
That's right.
And that's where we were different than all the surrounding counties, in my opinion, in both Florida and Alabama, is we had people looking to help as opposed to turning the other cheek and not wanting to reach out. Well, in Clanton, Alabama, that is where the state Emergency Operations Center is. And if you remember the movie War Games,
I do.
It's just like that. It's underground. I mean, it's fortified. In my mind, it's silly. There's no telling what they spend on it. There's no telling what they spend to operate it on a yearly basis. And every facet of public surface has a cubicle in there when it's go time. The state troopers have a place in there. The Red Cross has a place in there. The National Guard has a place in there. And everybody has somebody manning their cube because as needs come up, they're in charge of deploying their people if they are asked. Well, each morning, we would have a conference call. When I say we, every county that was in the impact area, and they would have us on the line there at Clanton. And they would say, okay, they would start with the counties, most severely affected, which we were at the top of that list. And they would say, what are your needs for the next 24 hours? And you would say, you would give them your power assessment. Okay, well, we have 85% people out of power, whatever. And you would kind of, there was a template you kind of went off of. Well, that first day, we were 100% out of power. So I said, we need SAL teams. SAL teams. We got to get roads clear before anything else can happen.
Right.
Nobody can get to us because we're stuck.
Right.
We're trapped. Well, about that time, I heard a lot of confusion and commotion going on in the background from Clanton. And I heard somebody saying, I told you. They heard me say assault teams. And the guy from the National Guard had gotten so keyed up and wanting to come down and shoot somebody so bad. He said, I told you, we have to deploy. I need 3 brigades, 2 battalions, whatever. And they were fixing to send them in mass to Escambia County and, fully armed, ready to go. I said, no. We need SAW teams. I need somebody with a chainsaw that can get these trees out of the road so we can get some water in here and some ice.
That is classic.
They wanted to hear assault teams. I'm telling you, they wanted to hear it because once again, it justifies their existence as an entity because they deploy.
Because that's how they keep getting funded, right?
Yeah, that's how you get funded. And JoJo just said it best right there. I mean, we help each other like we do on a regular basis, and it doesn't have to be a storm to help us. We've seen it through this program. When there was a need in our community, if somebody's house burned, if there was a child who was sick, if it's whatever it's been, I mean, we just rally. I mean, that's what we do here. We rally.
Oh, no doubt. I'll tell you what, the rain's coming down out there now.
Yeah, it is.
And I ain't trying to change the subject. I'm just saying, that's what I've been looking at. It's, it looks like it's starting to, by this canvas up here, looks like it's starting to get windy. And,
we're going to get this rest of the day. Even worse if you, if the projections are right.
Yeah, I think this is here to stay. I'm trying to find, let's see if we can find I thought maybe we might have something we could put up, but I'm not having any luck finding anything that's like live. Maybe, I don't know, maybe this is it. Or maybe it's all down because of this. Well, there's a live cam that's black.
I've already had 2 people heard me say saltines.
Saltines.
I've got a box of saltines at the house. I think they're good to have on standby.
Saltine. Good gracious. That's Choctawhatchee Bay right there, which is in...
That's the bay.
Crab Island.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. And that's just, like I said, that's the bay.
Amando Gwynn, I meant to say this, I meant to send you a message. I have the 2 containers that you brought up here most recently washed and cleaned. They're at my office over at the Ford store. Certainly don't want you out, today or the next couple of days, but I do have them ready next week or whenever you're in town, or I can meet you somewhere. We'd be happy to get those back to you. And thank you once again for the pepper candy bacon.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. For sure. Let's see. Where is this at?
Thank you, Reed. We'd love Reed's the man on the spot. Reed ought to call in and give us a eyewitness account of what's going on down in the Destin area.
Hey, what's it looking like down there, Reed?
He's going to take a video and post it.
I thought I've been trying to find some something that we could put it up, but I'm not having any luck at all. So I guess the storm's got all these cams that are normally up and running. I guess it's got them all down, maybe. Let's see. Let's see if this maybe. Let's see what this shows. Okay, well, that's definitely not part of the affected area for sure. Let's see what it looks like right here. Oh, well, that ain't. Oh, well, I'm going to forget that because I guess most of them are, maybe most of them are down. Well, I just can't get on them. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, I'm for some reason, some of them aren't pulling correct on, but now, hey, that may be us over here too. So who knows? Anyway, so I have a real quick question, and then we got to get out of here. I want to say this before we get out of here. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of those affected in the Flomaton area. With the people involved with a camping, the flooding at a campground, and I think the search is still underway for looking for those people, and we certainly hope that they are found safe, and want to send our thoughts and prayers out to them. And what else we need to round it out with about staying safe today, DJ? As far as
I'm sure that we're going to be sending some of our folks probably down to the impact areas to help with power restoration. We'll have some people from Southern Pine, Alabama Power, I'm sure, that'll go down and assist in those efforts. Certainly want to keep them in our thoughts and prayers, along with all the first responders. If that storm makes landfall like they say it is, it's going to be a bad deal for a lot of people. And certainly going to keep them in our thoughts and prayers moving forward. We're going to be here. I think we're set to have a very nice weekend when the weather rolls out.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll be the case. Hopefully our damage is minimal, if any. And while we're enjoying the weekend, and we should take a few moments just to think about those whose lives are fixing to change.
That's right.
And if it's Category 4, when it makes landfall,
it's going to be
trust
bad.
me, it's going to change.
Also want to mention before we get out of here, the Legacy game, as DJ said earlier, the Legacy game, or the Thursday night ceremony has been canceled.
Yes.
And so the game is still on for Friday night, but the Thursday night ceremony has been canceled. So anyone, looking to come out Thursday night, make sure you understand that they have canceled that due to the weather. And we're looking forward to Friday night. T.R. Miller, Thomasville, and W.S. Neal and Williamson.
Parade on Friday?
Yeah,
I can't wait. I love the parade.
That's right. Are y'all working on a float this week?
We got it. Let's say we got it. Charles Appolt's going to pull us again. He's pulled us at all of ours.
So y'all have already got all the stuff taped up on the sides of it and all that?
Heather Murphy Cook has had some signs made at the school. I think Greg White was in charge of the hay bales, so I think we're good.
So you haven't done very much.
I had the trailer.
You got the trailer.
I've always had the Happold hookup since the 10-year. That's been.
I got you.
Crystal McCarroll and Ben Fagan kind of line us out, and it's seamless. I mean, that's been my responsibility each time we've gotten together.
Yeah,
to have the trailer.
Well,
so I can do that.
You can keep that line.
I can do that. I thought it was big. Greg does the hay, and if ice is needed, Greg also is our ice man with twice the ice.
The ice man.
He's the ice man. Ben does T-shirts. Crystal does all the logistics, beads and throws and stuff. So yeah, we're good.
What's
I hear we're gonna have a DJ on our float this year.
Are you?
Is it you?
Not me.
I hear we're gonna have one.
It ain't me.
I can't wait.
I saw you post yesterday about Blues Brothers, yay or nay?
They're nay. Robert Nettles is not going to be able to make it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
that was disappointing.
What happened?
I don't know. It just didn't work out for him. He doesn't live here, so I guess scheduling didn't work out. But still going to have a good time, but disappointed not to see them get back together.
Yeah, well, me too. I mean, I was kind of looking. I was looking forward to that. So, I guess it's that time, DJ. We still got to do this, and I've said this a bunch, but I want us to, which I know they did it down there, so we'll forget that for a while. But we come in with a hurricane song. Let's get out of here with one. How about that?
That works. Appreciate everybody being in this morning. Once again, I want to encourage you to keep travel to a minimum the next 24, 36 hours. If you don't have to be out, just play it safe and stay at the home. Check on those friends and family members who may be a little closer to the impact area. Let's all just look out for each other. Y'all have a good day. Love y'all.
Listening to Drive Time with DJ and KJ. Brought to you by Bossman Productions. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and WBOSS, The Boss.